I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, he is. He's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out. And
He's steaming mad.
he is out.
Swung. Fly ball deep left center. Grissom on the run. Yes! 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 The Atlanta Braves have given you a championship.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is blocked. It's called on a run. It's called on a run. He's going to score. David Wagner. David Wagner has scored. And Auburn is tied the game.
It's good! It's good!
It's good.
It's good!
It's good.
It's good!
Van Tippen has won the ball game.
Alabama has beaten Auburn!
I'd like for the people to remember me as being a winner, because I ain't never been nothing but a winner.
I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, he is. He's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out. And
He's steaming mad.
he is out.
Swung. Fly ball deep left center. Grissom on the run. Yes! 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 The Atlanta Braves have given you a championship.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is blocked. It's called on a run. It's called on a run. He's going to score. David Wagner. David Wagner has scored. And Auburn is tied the game.
It's good! It's good!
It's good.
It's good!
It's good.
It's good!
Van Tippen has won the ball game.
Alabama has beaten Auburn!
I'd like for the people to remember me as being a winner, because I ain't never been nothing but a winner.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing? This is Chad Guasti once again coming with a Total Chad Sports Podcast. Number 55 on the list. as we get ready to talk whatever's going on throughout the day. Going to break down a little bit of the Atlanta Braves as they're on the road again, as they're going to take on the Trash Angels, the LA Trash Angels. Yes, it's very hard to kind of like pull for one of these teams, but we will break all that down and kind of talk about that series and what it means. Just as a fan in Braves country to kind of deal with that kind of stuff, because it's a team right down the street. You've seen half of this roster on the Angels just absolutely just look really, really good at home, and you want to pull for them, but not when they're playing the Braves, especially if you're a Braves fan, not when you're playing for the Braves. But welcome in, everybody, to the Total Chad Sports Podcast. Once again, at number 55 on the list, as we get ready to break down a lot of stuff. And I just want to say thank you, everybody that's listening in to the podcast. It's constantly being supportive, retweeting, liking, subscribing, whatever you want to do. I greatly appreciate it. Go to Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, all those places. Search at Coach Grizzle TV or at Guathny Chad, and you'll find me right there. You'll be able to get all that you want. You'll be able to break down anything you want. You're able to ask any questions. I'll keep some poll questions throughout the day. Try to always keep up that Twitter account for sure. Anything that's going on, any kind of latest news that might be going on, especially in the Atlanta Falcons world. Yes, Yorkie, I know you're watching. In the Atlanta Falcons world, because it doesn't seem too great for the Saints this year, does it? Does it, buddy? Apparently, Derek Carr said y'all are 10 times better than last year. 10 times 0 is still 0. You hear me? You hear me? I'm talking trash to all you Saints fans out there. So if there's any Saints fans that are listening to the podcast, you probably already turned it off. You're probably tired of the slander, and I'm okay. I'm okay with that. It is a very competitive rivalry. It's like Alabama and Auburn's of the world, okay? Saints fans, Falcons fans absolutely hate each other, but we can come to an agreement that both of our teams suck so badly that we just want the best out of them. At least Saints fans have a Super Bowl, okay? Falcons fans have been to the mountaintop. They have been there, and then they got pushed right back down, okay? So I don't want to hear it from any of you that might be just be like, oh, you're trashing the Saints and all this other stuff. No, I am. I definitely am, because you deserve it. You definitely deserve it, and you know it. Thanks, Drew Brees, the GOAT. Of course, Drew Brees is always going to be the GOAT. I mean, I love the guy. If you could be 5'6" and be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, I mean, more power to you. You know what I mean? I mean, shoot. I'm down with that all day. So, anytime a short guy can go and be a badass or be a leader or be whatever, I'm on board, man. Short kings unite. You know what I mean? Because that's all we got. That's all we got right there. Okay? Bunch of short kings. Tom Cruise, short king. Got to put a box for him. You know what I mean? Robert De Niro, he's like 5'8". You hear me? I mean, there's so many short guys out there that are great actors, great athletes. Muggsy Bogues, you ever heard him? That guy's pretty good. Or was. Nate Robinson, that guy was pretty good. That guy was fun to watch. Steve Smith, he's pretty fun to watch. I think he's like 5'10". He could be like 5'10", 5'11", I don't know. He's probably like 2 inches taller than me. But thank you so much for listening in. Whether you're watching right now live or whether you're watching later on the recap, whatever you want to do, I greatly appreciate you supporting the stream as always. But let's dive into it. What happened over the week? Before I get into some Braves talk and give you my analysis of everything that's going on and everything like that, let's kind of break down what was going on in the football world. Of course, the Atlanta Falcons have signed Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons. That's two huge pieces that the Atlanta Falcons definitely needed to make a run this year for sure. It seems like because everyone's like dogging them, oh, you drafted a quarterback after spending $90 million on another quarterback. Okay? Well, quarterback, I mean, to be honest with you, quarterback was a problem. Okay? You ever heard of Desmond Ridder? Yeah, he's in Arizona now. Okay? You ever heard of Arthur Smith? Yeah, he's in Pittsburgh now, and he's having to deal. Have you seen that offense? I don't know if it's Justin Fields that can hike the ball incorrectly, or it's Arthur Smith teaching him how to hike the ball incorrectly? Because it seems like now he's getting more options under center, because guess what? You're going to have 2 tight ends, you're going to run heavy, you're going to try to eliminate the BS that you know that both of your quarterbacks, if it's Russell Wilson or whoever, it just seems like one of those quarterbacks is not going to be very good for you this year, and it's not going to be very fun for. Even though like the Broncos still went 9-8 with Russell Wilson, I still think that for some reason Mike Tomlin, through all his power and wisdom and everything like that, he is going to stop his team from going under 500 for the first time in his career. Now, granted, they went like 10-7 last year, and nobody really probably thought that they were probably going to go that. It's going to be really difficult to say that and you're going to see my prediction here in a second, or here later in the show, because I am doing the AFC and the NFC North. doing the AFC and the NFC North. So I will give you my breakdown of each one and why, because I've already looked over the schedules because I do my research. I don't just try to talk out of my ass. You know what I mean? I don't try to say that, certain teams are in one division when they're not and they're in another. So I just think that when I'm breaking this down, it's all prediction. I'm no different than you. You can have an opinion on what's going on. Now, Yorkie may not love it when I do the AFC and the NFC South, and I give him my predictions on what the Saints are going to do. So we're going to leave that for the next podcast. I don't think I'm going to do the South until the end. So that'll be in 2 podcasts. But I'm definitely going to give you my prediction and everything like that. Once we get done with the NFL, because I'm trying to do these really quick, I'm going to try to do mostly like a college, SEC, Big Ten, ACC, something like that. I'm going to try to give you my top whatever, because I know I've already broke down who I think is going to finish in the SEC and everything like that. And I kind of got laughed at because, once again, I had Georgia and Alabama at the top, Texas at 3rd, but I still had Alabama possibly winning, the SEC title at the end of the day. Because I get it. The schedules are harder for Alabama. Some teams have an easier schedule. There's also some teams that I went back and looked, and I was just kind of like, well, is that team really going to finish there, or is that team going to finish here? Is Kentucky going to be 10th or 11th? I don't know. Is Missouri going to finish 5th or 6th again? No, I don't think so. But I still think they're a pretty good team. They got a quality quarterback, and that was the whole thing about everything. When I go into breaking this down, I kind of do my research a little bit. Who's the quarterback? Who's going to be this? Who's going to be that? Where are they going to play? Where are they missing key players? Those are certain things that you have to kind of take into account of what's going on. So when I give this breakdown, I give this analysis, everything like that, especially when I talk about the South, obviously the AFC and NFC South, obviously it's going to be with all the definite changes and everything that's been going on in just a year that the Atlanta Falcons have had. So, you go from Arthur Smith to Raheem Morris, Desmond Ridder to Kirk Cousins. You got DeMarco Hellams, who got hurt, to Justin Simmons now. You got Bud Dupree and Matthew. You had Bud Dupree, Matthew Judon now. You got Matt Collins, and now you got Darnell Mooney. So, these are great changes for a franchise that talks about winning every single year, and finally maybe put the proof in the pudding when the last 2 years you're really trying to spend some money on getting guys to come in and help this franchise. But the only problem is a quarterback play. If the quarterback play is right, if Kirk Cousins can stay healthy, if he can have this rapport that he has with Drake London and Kyle Pitts, it's going to be huge. You got the running game. I still think they still have I still think this is one of the most talented running back rooms that the Atlanta Falcons have ever had altogether. You literally have in itself 2 guys that have played really well despite all the options in front of them. You had a rookie in Tyler Algier the year before at over 1,000 yards. Probably should have been one of the top rookie of the year candidates on the offense. But you had that freaking crazy duo for the Jets. And then you got Jace McClellan at 3rd. So if Jace McClellan can stay healthy, not dinged up, everything like that, I think they have a really good chance to have one of the best running back rooms that the Atlanta Falcons has ever had. And I've said this before. And it's going to be huge trying to see what everything's going to happen with that offense and everything like that. But with the addition of the defense, I mean, Matthew Judon comes in a 4-time Pro Bowler. He's got 66.5 sacks. He has 347 career tackles. He had 4 sacks last year, which in itself is like 3rd on the active roster for the Atlanta Falcons. Arnold Ebiketie, who had 6. I think you had, I had it right in front of me. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because I had it right in front of me. Calais Campbell last year had 6.5. Bud Dupree had 6.5, both off the team. Arnold Ebiketie, which he was off the team, Needham, young guy, one of the like highest pressure rates coming out of college. Granted, he's Michael Parsons was on the other side at Penn State, but guy that's young. I still think he's just not getting it there mentally, and it's more of like a head game for him. He's athletic as hell. I think he's a great player, but when you're the leading sack guy, and right behind you is a guy coming in, and a guy that Caden Ellis, who's like he's a young Caden Ellis, Saints guy. He's somewhat of a young vet. He's still a veteran player, backup linebacker. Probably shouldn't have even played majority of the year at as a starting linebacker because of all the injuries. Nate Landman's going to be huge in that linebacker role too. But when you've got Lorenzo Carter, Daniel Amata, there's some of the sack leaders as well. Some of these older guys, you really need somebody too that's going to be a threat off the edge. And I think that's like finally where the Atlanta Falcons are starting to figure it out and starting to purchase certain players that are going to help this franchise do more later on down the road. Justin Simmons, two-time Pro Bowler as well. That's just another depth on the back end. I don't know what you want more, because you had to make this signing because Richie Grant and DeMarco Hellams ain't it. Okay? Those aren't going to be the guys. Now, DeMarco Hellams has made a huge dent, and he's made a name for himself. He's gotten into the defense. I think it would have been really good, him without being hurt, because I feel like he's a really good tackler. I think the problem with DeMarco Hellams is the coverage. Now, I think it's going to be great having him alongside Jesse Bates III. That's another guy, and in itself, the Falcons went out, wanted to build that defense and make it better throughout. So I think that's something that's going to be absolutely huge for the Atlanta Falcons, and I just think that it's going to be great to have those two types of players with Raheem Morris, with a defensive background. Yes, he was a wide receiver coach, everything like that. But I think it's going to be really huge for them. I think it's going to also alleviate a lot of that linebacker depth, that defensive end depth. You can move maybe people around on the defensive line, however you're going to set it up. So I think it should be really good for the Falcons as long as everyone can kind of stay healthy. That's the problem with the Atlanta Falcons. It was the secondary getting hurt last year. Grady Jarrett being out, that's absolutely huge. And I feel like that, it can always happen where you got the great player coming back, you got another player coming in. Troy Anderson got hurt last year too. That was another huge dent in the Atlanta Falcons defense, but they still were able to play well as much as they were. And there were a lot of games last year that the Falcons should have won. If they got to play the Vikings this year, and I haven't looked at the schedule later, I think I may have looked at the Vikings earlier. I don't know if they have to play the Falcons this year or not. They do. They play them December 8th at home. All right. Chad Hall, all right, was the one that ended up winning against the Atlanta Falcons last year. Okay? I watched that game. There's no reason to lose to teams like that. They shouldn't have lost to the Titans either. There's a lot of games, and I'll break down some of these other ones too, because there's some teams I was looking at where, even the Packers this year, I still think they're going to be second in the NFC North, and I'll give you that breakdown later. But it's because, I watched that game. The Falcons should not have beaten the Packers early in the year. Now, granted, it was early in the year. You gave $50 million or however many it was to Jordan Love, and he fumbled the ball, and he looked like a deer in the headlights against the Atlanta Falcons last year. So, there's a lot of, games that, you can kind of look at last year and be like, okay, how did they get by this game? How did they get by this game? And do you think they're going to have it this year because of a better quarterback play? Or maybe the team's a lot better, new head coach, maybe new additions, everything like that. So, it's huge. It's definitely some big news for the Atlanta Falcons. Something I'm actually happy for as a fan. But we shall see what's going on moving forward. So I think, in my opinion, that when you do things like that, it speaks volume that you're actually spending money, that you're actually taking the time to go out and be like, okay, this is going to be my guy. We're going to go with it. We're going to stick with it, and then see what happens going forward. So I just think that we need to sit back, watch, see what happens. You still got 2 more games of the preseason. So I just think that we'll have to see. Guys stay healthy. I'm sure guys won't play. Certain guys won't play, everything like that. But we shall see what happens throughout the South. Moving on to some baseball. The Atlanta Braves, they fell 6-0 trying to do a 4-game sweep against the Giants. But to be able to do that in itself is huge when it just seems like everything's going wrong. Michael Harris is coming back, which I said before. This is the reason why the Braves don't need another bat. Now, granted, I said that, and Jorge Soler gets hurt. He's day-to-day. I think it was a hamstring issue. He was day-to-day. He said he was feeling better the next day. But it's still kind of like, ooh, like as a Braves fan or as a baseball fan, you want to see what's going on. You want to see what's happening with these teams. But when something happens like that and you get a guy coming back, rakes like crazy, and then I think over the last 9 or 10 games, Jorge Soler was batting like 355 or something like that last time I looked at that. I think Mark Bowman was talking about that in one of his little excerpts. So, I mean, in itself, it's like, great, the Braves have another bat, blah, blah, blah. They still need pitching. All right, Max Fried was not it. He hasn't been it these last 3 starts, it seems like. Granted, he gave up 3 runs. Jesse Chavez came in, gave up 3 runs, and then the game ended in 6-0. But, I mean, they got 2 hit through like the 5th or 6th inning. So, you want to see better. You want to see better play out of the bats. You want to see, it was good to see Murphy hit, Olsen hit, and then, Michael Harris doing Michael Harris things. Because Whit Merrifield's not the guy. You know what I mean? Jared Kelenic came in, and I still think Jared Kelenic defensively is going to be really good. But on the offensive side, you really need to have that outfield core set up for a long run and a long playoff push and everything like that. Now, granted, they're going to have different guys. They're going to put different guys around. They're going to move guys, everything like that. But it's going to be kind of difficult to see what's going forward as long as guys can stay healthy. You don't want to take another setback like that and have another guy to your lineup, your core guy to your lineup, getting hurt. And Albies is still, it's getting close. Just don't. I mean, right now, if he can get right and get healthy by the time that they get into the playoffs, if they do make the playoffs, I think it could be a huge push too. Because I think he's kind of taken a setback a little bit, and we haven't had that Albies like usual where it's like he has like a run and then he has a dud and then maybe he can get back up again. I think now it's like he needs to take the time off, get healthy, everything like that, get oriented, and then really just make a push if you can going forward. Because I just think that it's just not. We're just gonna have to see. You know what I mean? You're playing position players at second base like Whit. And I just think that you got to have a guy there. You just have to have a guy there, whether you can call a guy up, maybe a couple plays or something. But I just don't know yet. I don't know what they're going to have at second base. So we'll have to see what happens going forward. Now, the time at hand to talk about the latest matchup that the Atlanta Braves have going forward in these next couple days. They have a 3-game set against the Los Angeles Angels. Granted, I live in Braves country. Hashtag Braves country. I also live in hashtag Trash Panda country. All right? Seen a lot of these guys play in the Rocket City. Seen a lot of these guys that are in this lineup tonight against the Atlanta Braves. And I don't know how I feel. How am I supposed to feel? I mean, you got Jose Soriano against Schwellenbach. That's Trash Panda versus Mississippi Braves right there. Okay? He was one of the 20th players at the time that got called up to go play for the Trash Pandas. To go play for the Angels. You can walk to the stadium. I wish I could walk to the stadium. I would love to walk to that stadium every day. I'm going to be there for dog night. I'm always there for dog night. Definitely going to be there for dog night. But you go look at this lineup. And you even have 2 former Braves in there. Kevin Pillar and Luis Guillermo. Now, granted, they're not really Braves. They played for a season or half a season or whatever. But it still hurts. You got Neto, O'Hoppe, Shanuel, Stefanik. I mean, how am I supposed to feel? You know what I mean? Go Braves. Doesn't matter. Go Braves. We're in Braves country. We're in Braves country. But I'm wearing the Trash Pandas hat because I'll always support the Trash Pandas. I was playing in the Trash Pandas media versus rep account softball game. And they were saying thank you to all these representatives and clients and all this other stuff in the media and everything like that. And then they said the word influencer. What does it take? What does it honestly take to be a Trash Pandas influencer or a Braves influencer? Because I want to get paid that money to do that kind of thing. I'm seeing this is the petty side of me. I'm seeing all of this stuff on social media, whether it's Twitter, TikTok, or whatever. And I'm thinking, where do they say, okay, this person is an influencer for the Braves. This person is an influencer for the Trash Pandas. This person is whatever. I have not seen content at all. Whether it's retweeted by the Braves, liked by the Braves, liked by the Trash Pandas. I don't get it. What does it take to be an influencer? Do you have to pay them money? I have a share of Batra. Okay? I have a share in the Atlanta Braves. Okay? Where's my recognition? Now granted it's 1 share. Now I can buy 2 shares if I want to. Well, but what does that get me? Sometimes on Robinhood, I occasionally get on their little talks or whatever. But I need the Braves to start winning. I need that stock to start going up. All right? I need to make some more money. Okay? So, got to do the whip and the nay-nay for clicks. How about that? Is that good for you? I'm doing the whip and then the nay-nay or whatever they do. I don't know what that is. I'm old. I mean, granted, I was probably in college when that came out. Maybe. But, I can't dance. I can't dance, man. You're just trying to embarrass me for clicks. That's what you're doing. That is what you're doing. You're trying to embarrass me for clicks, and I don't appreciate it still. I see how you do. All right. This man has Tom Brady underwear, mind you. Okay? This man has a Tom Brady blanket at his house. Okay? Mind you. So, this guy over here slandering me, I'll slander him some more. All right? Don't try to sue me, okay, for defamation. Because we know you got that. We know you got the underwear. I don't know about the blanket, but we know you got the underwear. He's got Patriots Tom Brady underwear, all right? He's got underoos. He probably has Gronk long johns. They're just like Gronk's face, all the way down the legs. This man probably has it, okay? He's lying if he doesn't, okay? So let's just cut the crap. Let's cut the crap, all right? Because I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. And so, looking at the standings right now, Phillies are still 7 games up on the Braves. I think by the time that if the Braves can kind of take 3 away from, or if they can sweep the Angels or take 2 out of 3 from the Angels, they have a really good chance to maybe make a dent on the lead that the Phillies have. Because I just think that it's still they got time. They got time. Whether to make the playoffs, whatever, there's a lot of time. Teams are gonna do certain things. Right now, the Diamondbacks and the Padres are 4.5 up. But I still think one of those teams, to this day, one of those teams is going to slip up a little bit. Now, the Braves, granted, can move up a little bit, up or down. I don't think the Phillies would want to see. I don't think, if they have to, whoever they have to got to play, I don't think whoever they're going to have to play is going to want to see the Atlanta Braves if they can get everything right. I mean, you still have Reynaldo Lopez coming back. You'll have Max Fried maybe getting right into form, Chris Sale. Hopefully Charlie Morton can get his fastball worked. And, maybe, in that Giants game, it was looking up and down a little bit, but he was able to get out of jams. Charlie Morton was doing Uncle Chuck type of things. And, granted, I think, oh, by the way, my mount is supposed to come tomorrow at 9 p.m. For some reason, Amazon once again canceled my purchase because apparently the credit card I was using was the same credit card I've been using. And it apparently didn't purchase the last time. So the arm for this is supposed to come, and then eventually I won't look like an idiot holding it. But yes, to go squirrely brain real quick. Sorry about that. I know I'm still holding it like this. But looking throughout, the Braves, they still got a chance. All right, they've only won 4 out of the last 6. I'm sorry, they're only 4 or 6 in the last 10. They still have a 41-run differential. Outside of the Reds and the Mets, those are the only closest ones that are even positive. The Giants are -12. If they can just get out of their own way and score runs, they'd be okay. Now, granted, yesterday they went up against Logan Webb, who's probably one of the most underrated pitchers around MLB. That was just tough. That's a tough matchup. That would have been like ace versus ace or young ace versus young ace. But Fried, he's not there yet. I just don't think he's there yet. I think he's going to have to figure it out. Next week it'll be, what am I supposed to do with my hands? I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my hands. The Braves got hot way too early. They got hot way too early, but they also were like 10 games over 500 before the playoff or before the All-Star break. So yeah and no, but they were supposed to be that good. You see what I'm saying? If their lineup is their lineup right now, and what it's supposed to be, they would be right there, I think, 1-2 with the Phillies, but they're not. That's the problem. They keep doing this fluctuation between losing to the Colorado Rockies and having the Mets go up a little bit. The Mets were only hot in July. Okay? We're past that now. Mets are doing Mets things. They're 31-31 at home. The Braves have to get it right on the road. They're only 1 game above 500. Now, granted, the Phillies are only 3 games above 500 away. All right? But they're 40-22 at home. That's Braves type of stuff back in the day. That's when the Braves were winning the NL East every single year. You have to win more of your games, obviously. You're only 6 games up right now. But to be 18 games above 500 at home, that's huge. Injuries, dime a dozen. Okay? Great teams can do that. Look at the Yankees that one year when they had 15 people on the DL before the All-Star break. Look at the Angels. The Angels could be pretty good if they couldn't have these types of injury problems. That's the reason why you see so many trash pandas getting called up and getting put into the roster because of so many issues. They still haven't put Caden Dana up there, and they've given Jack Kohanowitz a chance at pitching just because Jack has made a push. Caden Dana has gone scoreless over 16 innings until that last doubleheader when he lost the first game 2-1, and that's not on him. That dude's been an absolute ace. That's not his fault. It's like SEMO with Christian Moore and the freaking fan crazies. The crazy fans, whatever you want to call them. The phrazies. All right? They're over here making this man hate baseball because everybody wants his autograph. Now, granted, I get it. You're a professional athlete. But people need to calm down and say these are people too and leave people alone. Probably one of the funniest things I ever saw was the Trash Pandas video that they did. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. This is spot on by them. This is absolutely spot on by them. I want you to see this real quick. This was absolutely spot on by them. This was so funny. Imagine being a fan and doing this to a player constantly. This was great. This was absolutely great.
Hey Josh, can you sign this? Hey, Josh.
We've
Josh.
got a sweet open
Josh, I need you to sign
Saturday.
this. Josh, can you sign this?
And
Josh, that guy was actually the umpire for the softball
Is that a
game,
broken pencil?
by the way.
Oh, can I have your broken pencil? I don't use it anymore. It's broken. I was like, can I get that pencil? Can I get that pencil? Oh, I want that pencil.
Yeah, can I have one of these baseballs?
Could you imagine this at your job?
You have so many baseballs, please.
Does anyone do this to you at your job?
Please give me a baseball. Like, I need it for my desk. Like,
Ricky. That's Ricky Fernandez, promotions manager. Dude's hilarious. Does a great job, by the way.
we've got
Can you
a
sign
sweet
this?
open on the
Yes,
Sunday.
I need you to sign this right now. Can you do that?
This man's breaking character. Come on, man. You gotta be a better actor than that.
I'll play rock.
Can't be smiling. No Jimmy Fallon's in here.
Right here for the
We don't need Jimmy Fallon's in here.
camera, but mine doesn't. Let me tell you. Got a filter on here?
Oh, it's Nick. It's Nick now. To sit here and bash the Braves.
Just one.
Over here, bashing the Braves.
I can't have this.
You know what they got? A great fan base. That's what they got. For all that love, everything, they got a great fan base. That's what they got, Nick. That's what they got.
Like, there are so
One of my favorite
so many
NFL. One of my favorite Alabama players right here, by the way. Nick Morgan, number 32 in our hearts, or number 32 in your program, number 1 in your heart. This guy. Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. Michael Slot himself. Check him out on YouTube. Dude's a wizard. Don't know where you learn it from because I need to learn. I need to learn to make monies. Because I don't have any monies. I need to learn. So you go check him out. Michael Slot. It's a pretty close, pretty choice of words there, bud. Just gonna say. By the way, check out Captain Yorkie as well. He's on Kick. Is it the same thing? Captain _ Yorkie 44? Is it on Kick? You're on, yeah. I think it's the same one. If not, go look at him. Go to Kick and watch him. Okay? He knows what he's talking about. Nick, I'm going to have you on so we're going to talk about, we're going to try to get you on. We're going to talk about certain things in the college world. Okay? I don't want to hear that you're a Bills, Packers, whatever fan. What are you a fan this year? Who's your NFL team this year? Whoever looks good? You a Ravens fan this year? Big Ravens fan? Big Chiefs fan? I need to know. I feel like you flip-flop every year. I love you to death. But your NFL team needs to be consistent. I'm just saying. All right? I also have a present for you, by the way, that I still need to give you. Long time coming. It'll be like Christmas in August. But anyway, just, I don't know. It's really rough, like I said, to sit here and pull for the Trash Panda players that are on the Angels and be an Atlanta Braves fan, because when you grow up in Braves country, longtime Huntsville Stars fan, you know, great to see all these great Brewers players or all these great athletics players that have gone through here, but when it comes down to it, it's like pulling for your team every single time. You can't just go pull for this other team. Be like, oh, the Angels are my other team. I sat there and listened to somebody at a restaurant one time, like, going crazy, you know, for, like, the Angels or whatever. I bet you they didn't know half the players. But they knew the Trash Panda players, Trash Panda jersey and all. I mean, you got to pull for your guys. Especially guys that, like, maybe you've covered over the years or maybe you've watched. Anything like that, you want to see them be successful completely. But when the Mississippi Braves come into town and they play the Trash Pandas, if you're a huge fan, you're going to be sitting there going, "Oh, I got to watch this Schwellenbach guy." You know what I mean? I got to see this J.R. Ritchie guy. Now, granted, he's in Augusta, but you know, there's certain players that you're just like, "Oh, you know, who's this guy?" Nacho Alvarez. You know, certain players like that are getting called up, that are getting a chance to play. All right. Now, granted, if you're a fan of whatever team, now if you're like, that's the thing about football, that in years past, if I didn't like just pick a team because I got bullied into picking a team, in years past I would have just like been a player. I mean, I like this guy, he's a really good player. I like fantasy has been that huge helper, I guess, in itself, that has helped me like understand players, understand teams, understand divisions, everything like that, because you'll be like watching that team, or you'll go to like a bar, you'll go to a restaurant that has all the games on, B-dubs or whatever, all those types of things. That was unnecessary. That was like an unnecessary promotion of B-dubs, even though B-dubs is all right. There's a lot of great wing places around here, like Baumhauer's, for instance. Like Baumhauer's Wings. I'm sure you heard of it before. Pretty good place. Those are pretty good wings. But you go to those types of places, you watch those types of games, you watch those players, and you're like, all right, I'm going to go for that player. Younger, especially when you're younger and you don't have a team, because you don't really get made fun of when you're young and you don't have a team. It's when you get into high school and college and everything like that, and then people are like, oh, you don't have a team? You don't have this? What? I have a team. It's the Atlanta fan base, everything now, because I'm tired of getting called out. I'm tired of getting called out because I'm not one of those people that's like, I can have this. You can't be an Alabama and an Auburn fan. All right? You can't be like my grandmother, God rest her soul. You can't be an Alabama fan for so many years, then come out of nowhere and be an Auburn fan. Okay? That just can't happen. All right? Hunter Johnson, welcome. Drink beer. What kind of beer? What beer do you drink, Hunter Johnson? Go Braves, go Bama, go Saints, go Celtics. See now, okay, this is okay. This is okay. Because you do not have a team. It's like go Saints, go Falcons, right? You can't do that. Go Celtics, go Knicks. You can't do that. Or go Hawks, for instance. The Hawks. Go Preds. Go Preds, baby. But I grew up watching the Red Wings because the Red Wings were so good. I like the Channel Cats, all right? The Huntsville Havoc, one of the best SPHL teams in the land, if not one of the best minor league teams in the land when it comes to entertainment, the fan base, the players, everything about it, the venue. I mean, everything about it is perfect, spot on. Okay? You can be a fan of those. He can be a Braves, Bama, Saints, Celtics, Preds. You can do that. All right? You can't be Birmingham Bulls. We don't talk about that team. We don't talk about that team. Granted, you're down that way. You can have that team. Okay? Get out of here. You can go back to Pelham. All right? You go. I've been in that Civic Center, okay? It's very, very small. Okay? Especially when there's a wrestling tournament going around. That's the reason why I love it being in a new place. Because I can't stand that Civic Center. Now, granted, I'm sure the hockey games get a lot better. I'm sure they've done some renovations since then. Everything like that. Just doesn't give the same feel. Oh, I'm sure. Oh, see, that's the thing. I'm sure that feel is like Canadian, like, minor league hockey or something like that. You know what I mean? Or, like, up north in a smaller venue of a different league that we don't pay attention to. I'm sure that granted, that is what, yeah, perfect. I'm sure. But for the atmosphere down there, because it's even further south hockey, you know what I mean? Like, even in itself, what the Havoc are able to do, you got the Ice Flyers down in Pensacola, you got the Macon Mayhem. Like, they still have a good number of fans, but the venue, when you see the venue, you're like, okay, come on now. Like, we should probably, like, up it a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, get a little bit more fans in the seats. You know what I mean? Or maybe make some more seats for more fans. Maybe make a viewing area, you know, whatever. Like, there's those types of things, especially in those smaller markets that, you know, you're, like, looking out throughout, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? I have on a Sean Weatherspoon jersey, okay? Now, granted, I was a huge Matt Ryan fan. That's the reason why I think I pledged my allegiance to the Atlanta Falcons. I loved Vic growing up, but I was a Braves fan. I was a huge baseball fan growing up. I didn't care for professional football in itself. I think I have pictures. I couldn't show it to you right now. Actually, I might be able to find it on my Facebook. I have a picture of me wearing a damn Emmitt Smith's Dallas Cowboys jersey. I bet my mom got that from the Goodwill. Okay? That's why I had it. All right? Because the Cowboys were good. All right? The Red Wings were good. If you grew up in the South and you don't have a professional team, this is what you have. This is what you have. Making fun of kids because they don't have a professional team in a certain area. It must be nice for some of these kids in these big cities that have that fandom, that can go right down the street to a restaurant and it's on every single night, or it's on the wall, everything like that. I can't walk. There's no Braves bar. There's no Braves restaurant. Now, granted, I think Back 40 in Gadsden, Alabama was the Alabama Braves bar or something. What? Like, there's no Atlanta Falcons bar. There's no Titans bar around here. There's just bars or restaurants that play the game. They might have a Falcons logo somewhere, but it's not like Falcons memorabilia everywhere. All the barbecue joints in this place either have Alabama, Auburn, or A&M. All right? There's nothing else. Nothing else. Yeah, the venues do look. Even Peoria and the Rail Yard Dogs and everything like that in Roanoke. You would think like some of these like more southern, like farther northern teams would maybe have even the population. You would still think that because the population is greater in these cities that they would be able to do that. But see, where we're at is such a transplant city that like anyone's going to be a fan. Like you're in the Bulls are in Pelham, so it's either you're going to have to pull some of the Pelham people, the Birmingham people. Granted, now the Birmingham people aren't even Falcons fans or aren't even remotely. I mean, really, they're probably more Saints fans. They're probably more Dolphins fans, Steelers fans, because that's kind of how that area of the state is in itself. Like it's just not. Even though you're 2 hours or less from Atlanta, you still can take a 2-hour train in New Orleans and go see a Saints game from Birmingham. So there is that. I mean, and you've got in itself, you got all the great minor league teams too before the Mobile Bay Bears went away and became the Trash Pandas. You had Mobile, you had Montgomery, you had Birmingham, you had Huntsville. I mean, there were 4 teams right there in the state of Alabama, AA teams, which was great, which was amazing. You got to see all these different players come and go. When the Jacksonville Suns were a team, and you were able to see some of the White Sox that came through. You know what I mean? Or you were able, even in itself, being able to watch the Chattanooga Lookouts, the Tennessee Smokies. To see some of the Cubs players. Pete Crow Armstrong, when he came up here, and he was just raking every time against the Trash Pandas, I was a huge fan. I thought he was a great player. That's the thing about being a fan. It's either you're going to pull for your team no matter what. But being fans of players is what makes the game even greater. Because, you got to respect some of these other players. You can't just be a hater. I can't hate Dansby Swanson the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I can't hate certain players all the time. Like Juan Soto. I can't hate him for being a great player. I can hate him for being a Nationals player at one time. I can hate him for being a Padre from time to time. I can't hate him as a person or as a baseball player. You can do those types of things, and you can enjoy those types of players. And that's what fantasy and just being growing up not having a team, that makes it all that more special on the game itself. Because baseball will always be my number one. I'm one of those fans. I'm one of those weirdos that can watch an entire baseball game on TV. When I'm at the game, even a Braves game, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I like to get up and walk around. That's the whole point of visiting the stadiums and building that aspect where you can walk around the entire stadium. I watch the Braves all the time. I know what's going to happen. If I got to go pee-pee, all right, in the potty, and I go to the bathroom, I can watch the game on this big screen up there. It's right there in front of me. I go to the concession stand. It's right there in front of me. All right? I walk around to go see all the cool shops, all the cool restaurants, all the cool things that they have throughout the venue. The game's right there in front of me. I don't like sitting in the sun for progressively long-ass hours of the day. You can get dehydrated. You can get kidney stones. I know all too well. Happened to me a couple days ago. I almost died. That's too much information. I just sent out all my medical information out there. But those are, I mean, being able to go out, do those types of things, that's what's really that makes it fun for me. Like, that's the reason why I love going around and doing those types of things. I like going to the game, but I like also walking around and checking out the venue, checking out the sights, if you know what I mean. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I mean, if I can find a better half that loves baseball just as much as I do, I'm in heaven. All right, I'll be in heaven. That's all. That's what I want. I want to be able to walk around with somebody, hold that hand, enjoy the game together, and stuff like that. That's just me. That's what makes me happy. You know what I mean? I think every guy kind of wants that. You know what I mean? Like, to have somebody that is just as much as into a sport as you are, or someone that you can appreciate it, or that will want to go to the games with you, everything like that. It just that in itself is peak to me. So, baseball will always be my number one. Football number 2. Basketball number 3. Now, granted, I don't really watch the NBA throughout the season until like the late in the year. And that's the thing about basketball. I just became really more of a Hawks fan just because of the Atlanta aspect. Trae Young being a huge thing. Just Atlanta itself is very fun to like go and see a game. I've been to State Farm Arena or whatever they call it now. But I love going and seeing those types of things. And then after basketball would be hockey. Because I was never a big hockey fan. I liked the Channel Cats. Like I said, Red Wings were good. Red and white. It just seems like every one of my teams has got a shade of red and white. Whether it's red and black, or red, black, and yellow, red, white, and blue. I mean, there's always a shade of red in my teams. See that right there? Red, white, and blue. Trash pans. What about cricket? Vadik, cricket. Go USA? Upset for the first time ever in centuries, and we never play the game? There's actually a guy going around that like teaches the game to like a lot of kids, like I heard, or something like that. I forgot his name. But like to teach like young kids like the game, cricket in itself is crazy. Like I would have to learn it to like really do it. You know what I mean? Where am I from? I'm not from Australia. I'm from the South. The deep South. What's so funny about that? I don't know. What up, JP? Good to see you, buddy. Great to see everybody in here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. He's from Canada. No, that's not me. I actually would like to go to Canada somewhere. Just somewhere. Just so I can say I went to Canada. There is so much space in Canada. I could go anywhere and be like, I went to Canada. And I probably didn't even know if I was in Canada or not. No, that's my cricket team. Australia. See, I'm more of like when it comes to like different sports, I'm more of a rugby fan. Rugby in itself is what's really cool. Because I always like, I'm a small guy. So like, obviously football was not my forte. I probably should not have even played football. That's like my one regret is playing football in high school. Is I probably should have played baseball or soccer or anything like that. That was actually something that I probably could have been better at. Wrestling, 100%. I think everybody, you should do wrestling at one time in your life. Whether you go up all the way into high school or whether you quit before high school, start in high school, whatever. I think it's a great sport that will give you all the other tools that you need for whatever sport that you want to play. Now, granted, you probably can't play other sports that are going on at the same time, but it's definitely something that two sport athletes, I'm totally on board with two sport athletes. You want to go play baseball and football? You want to go play baseball, basketball, you want to go do swimming or whatever, and another one, like, do it, because you cannot be stuck on one sport your entire life. You're either going to hurt yourself, you'll hate it, unless you're like completely motivated, like Christian McCaffrey, going to bed at 7:30 at night every night, getting an IV in high school. Like, the most IV I ever got in high school was like when we could score a salt pill from the trainer. You know what I mean? And it was like, why are we doing this? Like, why are we addicted to this? It's like, wait, we might be in form on early drug addicts. Just saying. I don't know. That's just me. But, like, come on now. You're right, not Canada, but Greenland suits you. Greenland? You know, Greenland is full of ice, right? It's Iceland that's green. Did they help you? Did you ever learn geography? I was always getting hooked up. I never got an IV. I never saw guys in high school get IVs. Grissom couldn't afford that. We barely could afford equipment. We had an ice bath. I got in an ice bath after I tore my MCL. It was like, oh, that's kind of late for that, don't you think? The ice bath is supposed so you don't get those types of injuries. And you can loosen the body and you can feel a lot better. You seem like a Greenland guy. I'm a big Greenland guy. Go Greenland, baby. I would love to go to Greenland. Greenland would be cool. Be a lot of ice. I saw a really cool thing on Twitter. It was like a thread of like soccer stadiums and like basketball. You know, you got Appalachian State that has the cool baseball stadium and everything like that. But it was like I don't know how much is AI nowadays and how much is real. But it was a soccer field in Greenland, like right off the coast, and then you just see icebergs in the background. You know what I mean? And it's got like the soccer field is like immaculate because obviously it's probably turf or something, but. The most my school could afford is the helmets. Most of the players at the school had to buy their own equipment. Yeah, I was in a 7A school. We're like the biggest in the area. And by the way, they are 7A. Do your research. That was a little slight right there, if you know me. Because there's a lot of teams that I could go through in this area that have way more money than my high school does. And have been like a team for like 7 to 8 years. But there's also teams that have been consistent. But there's also teams that like they did a lot to improve their football programs. And my alma mater just seems to care about being smart, which is great. My alma mater, everybody that graduated the top of their class is some doctor, lawyer, some high-ranking official, everything like that. We are a 42% winning program. I've looked it up. Okay, it's probably gone less since then, since I've been talking. I love them to death. Okay? It just seems like it's difficult in this area to go to my alma mater and win where you're at. All right, there's so many great teams. Not just in the region, in the area, but in the state. You got Thompson, you got Hoover, you got Prattville, you got Hewitt-Trussville. All of these teams who have players that are playing at Alabama, Auburn, and every other SEC offer. Okay? We're getting offers to NAI schools. All right? We're getting extensions and everything that we're doing because we're smart and we're somewhat athletic. All right? And I love that. And I'll be all a part of that. And like I said before, I have created a Twitter account. It's called @GrissomRecruits. It helps these players get the recognition that they want through social media because that's how we live nowadays. It's all about clicks, Instagram flexing, all that crap. All right? But it's positive because these kids love it. They love seeing their names being retweeted. They love seeing the spotlight. These kids, the graphic people, there's so many people making a career just working on Canva or working on Adobe and making these crazy graphics for these players because these players love it. My high school was the only high school in the parish since I'm from Louisiana. Yes, it's a parish. I know. I have family from Louisiana. And we had about 4K students, and it was majority black students and low-income students. I felt bad for the kids being forced into sports, and they had to buy their own stuff. Well, I mean, in itself, that's the reason why I kind of quit playing baseball as a kid. Because once you got into high school, it's like you had to pay for that. It was more expensive. You had a lot of travel ball type of stuff. My mom and dad were not remotely financial off to like keep doing that kind of thing or do that kind of thing. Now, granted, they did it a lot for my little brother when they got a little older, and you know, like he didn't really put in that effort, that time, and all that other stuff because it wasn't really a sport for him. But when he became a football fan, I mean, when he became a football player, I mean, he was all aboard. You know what I mean? He made sure that he wanted that kind of equipment and made sure that he had like armbands and things like that because he wanted to look flashy. And I'm cool. You look good. Deion, the only thing positive about Deion, look good, play good. You know what I mean? That's the only thing positive I can say about Deion Sanders. Other than fighting with the media and all that other crap, blah, 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 that he's going through, I can't stand that crap. But if you want to look good and you want to play good, that's fine. Look good. But go out there and play good. So, Saint Tammany. I live in Saint Tammany now. It's a small world. Such a small world. Just a crazy small world we live in, man. You just never know who. I was talking to. I had an interview today. And I was talking to the interviewer. And we were talking about, you know, being in this area. And, you know, when did you graduate? And who do you know? And all this other stuff. And then, like, starts writing off names. Oh, yeah, I worked with. Yeah. It's a small world. I mean, I went to Italy in 2010, and I was walking the streets of Florence. Okay? Fiorentina. You remember that, Nick, if you're here? Fiorentina. Oh, Roma boy. I was walking down the streets of Fiorentina, walking up to St. Michael's Cathedral. There was a lady with a freaking Auburn shirt on. An Auburn shirt. I walked up to her. I gave her the biggest war eagle. She looked like I was an idiot. She looked like I was an idiot. But if she was wearing an Alabama shirt and I walked up to her and I said, "Roll Tide," I guarantee she'd be like, "Roll Tide." She don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. All right, please, Roll Tide Willie, if you're watching, please do not try to sue me for using that. I don't know if you're allowed to use that. I don't know. I think you can just talk and say things, maybe, allegedly. I know Chad. I don't know Chad, but I've talked to him many times on social media. Guys even actually reached out to me about the situation I'm going on and everything like that. I think they're hilarious. I think they're great. I think they're positive for the game. I think the game is changing for sure. You know what I mean? These kids, like I said, these kids love TikTok. They love social media. They love being on something so they can go retweet it and show their friends or their family or whatever how many likes they got, how many followers they got, everything like that. What do you think this whole video is all about? I mean, I have to make the views. I have to make the likes for it to be positive, right? If more people want to see it, there has to be more views, right? But it comes with the viewers. It comes with you. It comes with the friends and the family and the fans. Now, granted, I don't think a lot of y'all are fans of me. I think y'all are friends. I think y'all are family. I appreciate everybody that's here. Anybody new, you're part of the fam. All right? You're joining the fam right now. All right? That's never going to change. Every time I see the word Homa, I play this game on Discord, and there's a guy, his name is Homa. And every time I hear the word Homa, it reminds me of watching Swamp People all the time. And they're like, in Pierre Park, in Homa. Like, every time I see Homa, I say it like that, in Homa. Because it's like, I watched every single episode of Swamp People throughout that whole phase. I'm about to go crazy because we're about to get sidetracked like crazy. And I'll give you my predictions on the NFC and the AFC South here in a few minutes. But we just keep going down some more talks. And it just seems like this is just scatterbrain talk. I mean, this is what a podcast really is. But in itself, it's a live podcast. It's a live show. So really, I mean, check the podcast after this. You know what I mean? Go follow the podcast and go do all that type of stuff. This is more of a YouTube channel now. This is more of a live show. We're doing more of breaking down what's going on. But watching Swamp People, anything that was like Storage Wars, Parking Wars, we've talked about this before. We lost great television, in my opinion. I don't know what made me so hooked to those shows. But like, even now, on all the old people channels, or if they have like Samsung TV has like a 24/7 channel, Dog the Bounty Hunter, A&E had some of the best shows, man. History Channel. When you went away from history, you hurt me, because I used to watch Civil War Journal before school every morning. That's the reason why I'm such a history nut. I loved Civil War Journal. It'd come on every morning at 6 o'clock, 6:30, or whenever it was before I'd go to school. You also had Wild Wild West, which was not the movie with Will Smith. But it was like Wild Wild West, so it was like all these like historical accounts of like, you know, Wyatt Earp and all these other cowboys, and just what they used when they were out west, how they built the buildings, how they did all these types of things. Like, that was cool to me. My great aunt was married into the Landry family. Well, why aren't you a gator hunter? You gotta hunt that gator. Where you from? You don't know gator. How you not know gator? I'm going to kidnap you. Don't be the weirdos. Don't be the weirdos out there that are like hating on me now. Because that's the thing, is like, you could grow a following, but you could also grow a hating. So please, I want you to be one of the people that protects me. How about that? And I'll protect you as itself. Please. I know too many Landry people. That's so cool. I got to talk to the, you know, the guy that would always go and like talk to, what's his name? The Swamp Man, Willie. You know when that guy, I think his name was like Joseph or something like that. Remember when that guy would always like go to Willie and be like, "Hey, I need you to go pull out a cypress out of the lake. I'm gonna go make a table out of it," or whatever, right? I actually looked him up on Facebook. I had nothing else to do, I guess. I was just a weirdo stalker, man. I went and like asked him, like, I hit him up on Facebook. He actually responded to me, and I asked him some questions and everything like that. How, you know, what was it like being a part of the show, doing all those types of things, and, you know, what is it, you know, what do you do to like go get him to go out and like go find you a log and everything like that? Like, that in itself is crazy. Brother, dad, grandfather, and great grandfather are all named Joseph. That's crazy. Joseph the second, Joseph the third, Joseph the fourth, Joseph the fifth. You gonna name your kid Joseph? You gonna be the sixth? Joseph the sixth? Do y'all have the same middle name or no? I'm the third. I'm the first. I'm the first. Number one, baby. Who the hell would name their kid Chad? Mom, what the hell was you thinking? Name your kid Chad. At least gave me Ryan as a middle name. Gosh. I tell people that sometimes. My name's Ryan. I'm just kidding. I don't hate my name. I don't hate my name at all. I have done that a couple times, though. I have told people my name is Ryan. There was a little time in my life where I was just like, this Chad name sucks. Chad Ryan Murray. Yeah. Chad Michael Murray. Chad Michael Ryan Murray. I am the only one named Justin. Even worse. Hell no, that would be my brother. Oh, you said my brother. I read that wrong. I can't read. Dyslexia, man. Come on, it's a problem. It's an epidemic. Ryan Reynolds, by the way, another squirrely brain thing. That man either wants to become a prime minister of Canada or a president of Canada or some kind. He wants to do something, I feel like, because he has the Mint Mobile. He's going to have a lot of following from that. He's going to help a lot. He actually, like, they actually kept their same prices too, I think, ever since COVID. And then, you know, the whole Deadpool thing. Like, if Donald Trump can be a president because of the being a famous person and doing all these things or whatever, I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger was able to become a governor. Like, I couldn't, like, even with the Wrexham thing with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney. Mac. I don't know. I forgot his name. I love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I feel like that they're just getting that love, man. They're trying to do something, man. They're doing something more. Now, granted, I think they're doing it to help people, plus their own personal gain, everything like that. And then they're famous, so you mean you can do those types of things. But that in itself, like, he's got to be doing something to try to, like, when he gets older and he's done with acting. And he's like, all right, maybe I should go run for office in Canada. Or maybe I could go be a governor in whatever state that he lives in or whatever, Hollywood or wherever. You know, because it seems like California always is that one. Baconator? That's going to name your kid? He should do it. Probably be better if he wasn't. Yeah. Yeah. But I think in itself, like, that's kind of tough to say, too. Because, like, I don't want Taylor Swift going around being a senator of, like, Tennessee or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, I don't want Patrick Mahomes being, like, a senator or a governor or something like that. It's just, you know what I mean? I don't know if I can handle any more of his wife being in the news and being everything like that. Because I feel like his wife might end up being a problem if he goes running for office or something like that. Taylor Swift in itself, you're going to have so many crazies if she did that. Are you kidding me? We're already having issues with both sides of the parties. You don't think some Swifties are going to go crazy the moment she gets bashed at a rally or something? That'd be some radical Swifties. All right? I'm just going to tell you that right now. That could be a problem. I mean, you just said you watched The Boys. How much of The Boys, the show The Boys, has a, quote, political side to it because Homelander is more of the far right and the good guys are more of the far left or somewhat neutral, and they're all trying to keep America, like, in itself stable. That's huge because that's all in the writing, obviously, from these writers. But that's crazy. Like, you watch enough of it, you dig deep into that, you can see that right in front of you. You know what I mean? Yeah, my kid will be called Baconator. That's hilarious. I love it. I love it. So before we get any more off track, let's break down the AFC North and the NFC North, like I said I was going to earlier. Because, let me just get this right here. I want to put my camera on this time so you can see me on it. Because last time I didn't put my camera on it, and I was just talking, and I just kind of like flipped between the two screens. And I'd rather have like my camera in there so you can see me. So let's break it down. Let's get into it. Right now, we're going to break down because I have it up, we're going to break down the AFC North. Granted, I think the Baltimore went like 13-4 last year. I think from what I remember, I'm not trying to like go back and look at it. I think the Browns were 10-7 last year, and the Bengals were 10-7 or 9-8. No, the Bengals were 9-8. The Browns were 11-6. That's what it was, because the Ravens were 13-4. The the Browns were 11-6. Crazy in itself that they were 11-6. And what they were able to do, minus a quarterback, minus a running back. I mean, huge. The Bengals last year were the bottom tier, 9-8, okay? And then, of course, the Steelers were 10-7 last year. Now, granted, the Ravens are still the Ravens. I still think they're great defensively. Probably the best quarterback in their division. If not in one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the AFC with Lamar Jackson. Mark Andrews is still there. This is a team that, like, John Harbaugh, when we talk about the Steelers and the consistency that Mike Tomlin has had, the consistency that John Harbaugh has had, that's huge. You know what I mean? That is huge in itself. So practice what you preach too. Him and his brother do the same thing. I mean, they get in the scrums, they do all those types of things. The Kalen DeBoers of the world. You know what I mean? These are coaches that get into it. Mike Tomlin. These are coaches that like getting in the scrum. They like getting in all that kind of things. Raheem Morris is the same way. He's one of those coaches that loves to pump up the players and get behind them and do all these types of things to make them a better player. But I was looking at some of these schedules, and it's just tough to say, hey, this team's going to be this team's going to be that, because of how competitive this division is in itself. We talked about it last time with the AFC and the NFC North. Those two divisions, you have your 1 and 2 teams. They're going to come out every time, whether it's the Chiefs, especially these last, I say, decade. You have the Chiefs coming out, maybe the Chargers coming out. You'll have, the Broncos coming out, because the Chargers seem like, even with Phillip Rivers, they could never freaking try to win, get it right, all those types of things. You have, in the NFC, you would either have the Rams or the 49ers every single year. The Seahawks had a good run for a while, with the Legion of Boom, everything like that. But now it's like we're getting back into that frame where the Seahawks and the Cardinals are still those two bottom teams. And you say, yes, those are the two teams that are going to come out of these respected divisions and everything like that, because they're that good. But they also can lose to certain teams. The Cardinals can go and beat the Rams. The Seahawks can go and beat the 49ers. All right? The Raiders can go and beat the Chiefs. Okay? The Broncos can beat the Chargers. It's just whether, it doesn't matter. These are professional athletes. These are professional teams. But when I look at this AFC North, I still think the Ravens are top dogs, hence the dog. The Bengals have gotten better. Joe Burrow being healthy, his offensive line looked pretty good in practice. He's got great weapons around him. Now, granted, Joe Mixon's going to be a Texan, but I still think that the Bengals still have a chance because of who they have at quarterback. And my thing about the Browns is, coming in at third, they could easily be right there at second. One of these teams could flip-flop again. 10-7, 9-8, 11-6, or whatever. Granted, I may have had the Bengals at the wrong spot. Maybe probably had put the Browns back at second again because of what they were able to do. But if you were able to do it without Nick Chubb and without Deshaun Watson, if you have those two players now, there is no excuse. There's no excuse. No excuse for the Browns being where the Browns... I mean, like, there should be no... They should be 10-7, 11-6 again, like they were last year. If not, 12-5. And beating the Ravens. Maybe it's crazy that I'm saying that for after so many years as a head coach, that Mike Tomlin, for his first time, will go under 500 as a head coach. And the reason why I say that is because you got to figure it out on offense. If Justin Fields can have a game, or can play a good game, can stay healthy, whether it's him or Russell Wilson or whoever at quarterback, if Russell Wilson was able to do the same thing for the Broncos, he should be able to do the same thing for the Steelers. They still have great weapons at the Steelers. My problem is offensive coordinator, granted, that was the former Falcons head coach, Arthur Smith. He's a great offensive coordinator. Terrible head coach. But I think he benefited also from being with Derrick Henry and the Titans for so many years. Now he's going to have Najee Harris. All right? But his quarterback play is about the same as it was last year for him with Desmond Ridder. Granted, Justin Fields and especially Russell Wilson is better than Desmond Ridder. But not from what I'm watching. Did you watch that preseason game? Justin Fields fumbled twice. I think he may have fumbled another time as I'm talking. He had a problem. And I don't see it getting any better for them. And I see it's going to be tough because of the other three teams that you've got in this division. And the quarterback play. And the team just being better around them. The head coaching. Everything is better in the AFC North. I still think maybe one of those three teams that are in the top right, like the Ravens or the Browns or the Bengals, one of those three teams, they still have a great chance to maybe whoever's going to win that division, and then especially I think it's going to be the Ravens. But those two teams between the Bengals and the Browns, that's 1 and 2 right there again. I just don't see the Bengals slipping up as long as Joe Burrow can stay healthy. I mean, that's going to be huge. What's up? I'm getting a lot of people that aren't from the country, but I appreciate you being in the chat. Hopefully some of these are not bots. Where are you from? You're more than welcome to interact with the chat. Some of these names I do not recognize. Whether you're from the country or not, you're more than welcome to be a part of the fam as long as you're cool. So I have that problem a lot with like TikTok, Twitter, everything like Twitter especially. I get all these like random invites and all these like tags or whatever, and then you'll get like someone following you that you don't even know, or it's a bot. Like just be yourself. Just talk to me. Hang out in the chat. Like, there's no hate here. We love all of you. Just be cool. You want to talk about whatever, you're more than welcome to talk about whatever. So those are my predictions for the AFC North. Whether they're yours or not, they're my predictions. I'm just going to give you what I feel. You know, it's going to be tough to kind of say, hey, this team's better this year, this team's worse. But when you go off of what they did last year, the new additions, the drafting, everything like that, some of these teams have gotten better. Some of these teams, in itself, may have gotten worse. You just never know. So it's kind of tough to say, hey, who's going to be good and who's not going to be good when, I mean, in itself, like, you just don't know either. I mean, you know the good teams, you know the top teams, you know the top tier teams, sure. But you don't know about the rest, especially in their own division. Moving on to the NFC North before we get out of here and wrap it up, because I went way too long last time. We went like 2 hours almost. We're trying to make this an hour and a half, and we're at 124. So, looking at the NFC North, and you can watch this again if you would like. I'm going to post it everywhere on all the social medias, on my Facebook, on my Twitters, everywhere. So if you want to hit it up on, you want to subscribe, hit that subscribe button on, if you're on YouTube, everything like that. Go do that. But when I go look at this NFC North, I still think a great Lions team. I still see a great Lions team. I see a Packers team that is seems like they're all on board for possibly the third rendition of a guy that's going to come in and win a Super Bowl and maybe only one Super Bowl, but still he's going to maybe come in and win a Super Bowl because he sat behind just like the last two great quarterbacks did at Green Bay. The Lions went 12-5 last year. Now, granted, I don't think that they'll go 12-5 again. Could go 11-6. Could lose a game to the Packers. The Packers went 9-8 last year. All right, they could go 10-7. Okay, easily. I mean, they went 9-8 last year What's that one game that I was talking about earlier? The Falcons. They should have won that game. I think they lost to the Bears, too. All right, with Justin Fields. Coming in at third, I think Caleb Williams is still a pretty good player. Now, granted, I do not like Caleb Williams. I don't care if it's for his nail polish, purse wearing, merce wearing, whatever he's doing. That's not me. But I'm not going to hate on the guy for that. Everybody can be weird in itself, and that's what makes us special is we all can be different. We can all be weird. We can all be fun. All right, just if you're going to be a professional athlete, you're going to do all this stuff, carry yourself to a higher standard. You know, realize that there's a lot of young kids out there watching. Do it with the utmost respect. Treat the game like all the other guys in the past have. Because that's the one thing that I hate about the new age, and I guess I'm more like an old, grumpy old man on, get off my lawn old man guy, is that, like, the changes, even in college football, it's all about likes, it's all about clicks, it's all about whatever. Guys are going to universities because of, like, TikTok stars or whatever. You know what I mean? Guys are all about their views and everything like that because they want to be there. Same thing with the professional athletes. They all want to be individualistic idols in itself. Well, they shouldn't be. They really shouldn't be. There should be faces of the league and everything like that. There should be good players that go out and make positive examples in the community, everything like that, but not an idol. Not like, oh, I should have like I should have all this respect, blah blah blah. It's like no, you should earn that respect. You're like all these NIL kids making way too much money and you hadn't done anything on the football field. Where, like I said, where does this value come from? So, slow your roll. I think they could go 7-10. Granted, they went 7-10 last year. Okay, maybe they could win a couple more and go 9-8. Maybe it could be one of the most competitive divisions that I have here. Because the Vikings, man, they just can't catch a break. You got rid of your franchise quarterback, whether it's money issues, everything like that. You have Justin Jefferson. The defense is kind of, Daniel Hunter's not there. The defense is kind of maybe take a step back. The offense is kind of maybe have taken a step back as well, especially with the quarterback play. J.J. McCarthy going out with a torn meniscus. I've had a torn meniscus. If it's partial, he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Now he's a professional athlete. He'll be out for 4 probably. If it's torn, which I think it was an ACL or whatever, if it's a torn meniscus or whatever, if it's torn, completely torn, he's out for the year. I think he was out for the year. So, that is not good. Because when you got Nick Mullins, Sam Darnold, and who was that third one? Oh, Chad Hall, who beat the Falcons last year. That's another one when I go talk about the NFC, or the AFC and the NFC South. Is that in itself? I think did I say the Vikings play the Falcons? Yes. December 8th. There's no reason for the Falcons to have lost to Chad Hall and the Vikings last year when Kirk Cousins went down. There's no excuse for that. As bad as the quarterback play is for the Falcons, as it was last year, there's no excuse for that. And when I go look at this Vikings schedule, yeah, they're going to go 2-15. They got to play the Lions twice, the Packers twice. They got to play the Bears twice, okay? The only games that I see in this entire schedule when I'm looking at them, they play the Giants. The Giants are at home, but at their home, so they got to go away. I think they could beat the Giants, okay? They got to play the Seahawks. Maybe could get a win. The Cardinals, maybe could get a win. They got to play the Titans in Nashville. They got to play the Colts at home. They got to play the Lions. Of course, they play the Lions both ways. They play the Rams. They play the Jets. If Aaron Rodgers is ready to go, the Jets are going to be pretty hard to beat. They got to play the Texans. They got to play the 49ers. It's going to be tough. And then they got to play the Falcons. Away. That's a win. They got to play the Jaguars. If Trevor Lawrence is the guy. Which, granted, he played in the first preseason game. C.J. Stroud, I think, played in a little bit in his preseason game because he's a younger guy. But if Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be the guy for the Jags, The Jags are at home on November 10th against the Vikings. It's going to be tough. So 2-15. The tweener games are the Cardinals and the Seahawks, right? Because they're going to beat the Giants, I would hope. Maybe they beat the Falcons. Who knows? Who knows how great the Falcons do throughout the year? I know the Steelers have to play the Falcons earlier in, at the first game of the season. That's the first game. And so in itself, when I have the Steelers sitting at the back end, that could be 8-9. That could be 9-8 by beating that one team. Because on top of the double they got to play with the Ravens, the double they got to play with the Browns, the double they got to play with the Bengals. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to really say. But I think the Vikings are going to be one of those worst teams in the league. Because you're going to need either if J.J. McCarthy's not the guy, whether, and we don't know, he tore his ACL or his MCL. If he's not the guy and they go 2-15, they're going to need another maybe defensive player, or maybe they go after another offensive player or something like that. You know? Maybe they go for a quarterback. Maybe JJ's not the guy. Maybe they need another quarterback. Maybe they do a Falcons thing. They keep JJ and they go draft another quarterback. But that's two rookie quarterbacks sitting right there. They could do kind of like Washington, even though it's two separate years. But they could have two quarterbacks maybe under a rookie contract and get rid of Sam Darnold. Or get rid of, or maybe keep Sam Darnold and get rid of Nick Mullins, Chad Hall, whoever. Because Chad Hall might end up being like the camp arm or whatever. Who knows? So that's my breakdown of the AFC and NFC North. I hope you enjoyed it. Those are my predictions on where they're probably going to finish. We'll probably see throughout the season if they finish there or not. It is what it is. I just kind of wanted to break that down and give me that chance to kind of break all that down. Because next time we're going to do the NFC and the AFC West, and then we'll finish off with the AFC and the NFC North. I see that that everyone's kind of winding down. I'm going to wind it down as well. We're not going to make it a 2-hour session like last time. I'm sure most people don't want to sit here and listen to this for over 2 hours or over an hour and a half. So I want to kind of break it down as much as I can, but also give you enough sports talk throughout the week and everything like that. But also give you more so I don't have to get get kind of burnt out on everything. Because I want to try to do 3 to 4 a week. I want to try to give you as much as I can. So I will say this on my closing. Go to one of your local Greater Humane Societies. One of your don't go to the pound. Well, maybe go to the pound. Go to the pound. Go to Greater Humane Society. Go to one of your local dog or cat shelters or something like that. And if you're not gonna adopt a dog, maybe go check out a dog. Maybe go adopt a dog or a cat or wherever eventually. But go spend some of your time and donate your time and effort or something like that, and go build something or go watch a dog or go hang out and go chill at the Humane Society and then just invest your time and volunteer your time in something like that makes you feel better. Because I've done that in the past. I love doing that. My family continues to do that, fostering dogs. Whether I would love to foster a dog if I had more room. I want to do the whole Steve-O thing that he wants to do now, where he was changing his life and everything like that. He wants to go and have this huge farm of dogs and have a bunch of land and have a bunch of dogs and everything like that. If I could be some professional whatever and make millions of dollars, the Hawk Tuah girl, as much as the crap the Hawk Tuah girl's getting because of the fame that she's getting, she's at least trying to do it positively. I think she's helping veteran dogs and everything like that, or vets with dogs and everything like that. That's her thing. My thing has always been something like that. I love dogs. I love cats. I would love to have a cat. I'm sure Lady Bird would love to have a cat. Lady Bird. Lady Bird. Go girl. Oh, she's over there somewhere. She would love to have a cat. She's the sweetest thing in the world. She is a product of a Humane Society type dog that you adopt, okay? You want something like that. Lady Bird, come here. You're not helping. Come here, baby. Come here, you want. Come here. Yes. Who wouldn't want somebody pretty like that? Who wouldn't want somebody awesome like that? Oh, she's coming and helping. She's going to come help make it even better. See, this is what we use. This is who we use to promote. This is who we should use every time to promote the Ow! Come here. Come here. Come here. This is who we should use every time to promote the stream, promote the Greater Humane Society, whatever you're doing. This right here, this was an adopted dog, okay? This sweet baby right here was adopted, okay? She says, go adopt a dog. Go adopt a cat. Okay? This dog is awesome, all right? One of my favorite, just my baby. This is my big old baby. One of my favorite. You are my favorite. What am I talking about? So, when you say, hey, maybe I'm thinking about getting a dog for my kids, family member, whoever, make sure you adopt, don't shop, because that's where it's all about, because you're not going to have anything better than one of these freaking dogs right here, and it really will save your life. You can also have them as a service pet if you need to. I mean, every time that I've ever had a problem, this dog has always been my rock, and I love her to death, and it wouldn't have been without the Greater Humane Society in my area, the Huntsville Greater Humane Society, that's where it's at, and just one of these, no-kill clinics and everything like that. I mean, shoot, even adopt them from the pound if you have to get them out of that terrible situation that they might be going on to. Because in itself, like, if you're not a dog guy, get a cat. Like, I would have a cat. Yeah, you want to go kitty cat? Where's it at? Where's the kitty? Uh-oh, she's going to go find that kitty cat. Oh, my goodness, she's going to go find the kitty cat. See, she's crazy when it comes to kitty cats. I don't think she could ever have a kitty cat friend, because she'll go freaking nuts. But, like I said before, make sure you go do those types of things, even if you want to go donate your time and everything like that. But leave a legacy and do those types of things to make the place better than where you found it. This whole world would be better that way if you just continue to make some kind of positive impact in life, whether it's with kids, whether it's with people around you, whether it's dogs, whether it's whoever, cats, whether it's a hamster, whether it's just go and just do those types of things that make you feel special in life. And like this, do a podcast. Forget all the naysayers. Let like Alabama says, let a naysayer know. All right? Like they say. Don't sit here and wallop in the what if and the pity and everything like that, the self-doubt. If you want to do a stream, go stream. If you want to go do a podcast, go do a podcast. You want to go adopt a dog, go adopt a dog. Go do those types of things. Don't listen to people that are holding you back. Because that in itself is where you're just going to hurt yourself even more, and you're not going to be able to really thrive and be able to do what you want to do. So like I've said before, thank you so much, everybody that listens to the podcast, watches the podcast, subscribes to the channel, everything like that. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. It doesn't matter the views. It doesn't matter the number of views. It doesn't matter the donations, anything like that. If you want to donate, go donate to your Greater Humane Society. Go donate to the stream, and I'll go donate to the Greater Humane Society for you. Maybe we'll set up a Venmo account. Maybe we'll set up a Zelle or a Zedge or whatever the hell they call them, and a Cash App, because it seems like all the social medias are doing Cash App. We could do something like that, where if you want to donate some money, I'll go donate that money to whatever charity you would like it to, or maybe just the Greater Humane Society in itself. Because we would love that. I mean, they do a great number of things in this town, and I would love to continue to thrive and do that nationally on a global scale, okay? That would be the coolest thing ever. So, thank you so much. Make sure you have a good rest of your day. Go follow the podcast anywhere on socials. Go subscribe, all those types of things. We'll be back in the next couple of days for another one. I'll try to make a post about it that we're going live, everything like that. I forgot to do that this time. I kind of just did an impromptu. I was feeling really good about myself, and I really wanted to do a stream. So I did a really bad job of promoting the podcast being live, but I'll do that next time. But give it a watch, give it a view, retweet it, go tell your friends, all those types of things. Because like I said, I wouldn't be here without you. So please, everyone have a good rest of your day. This has been the Total Chad Sports Podcast number 55. Thanks.
I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone. They might be going to call George Brett out. Well, he is. He's out. Yes, sir. Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out. And he's steaming mad. He is out.
Swung, fly ball deep left center. Grissom on the run. Yes! 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 The Atlanta Braves have given you a championship.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is blocked. It's caught on the run. It's caught on the run. He's going to score. David
It's good.
It's good.
Van Tippen has won the ball game.
Alabama has beaten Auburn.
I'd like for the people to remember me as being a winner, because I ain't never been nothing but a winner.